What's up, guys? Okay, so lately with my 300ZX, well, not lately, but pretty much the whole entire time I've had with this car, every time I would try to start it, I think I mentioned in a previous video, is that basically it would have kind of like problems starting right away. It would take like quite a few cranks just to get it, just turn over and actually start running. And then like the first maybe like 30 seconds of me actually driving it, it has a really bad stutter in it. And I'm not too sure what it is. Um, I've already, replaced the spark plugs, wires, and all the fuel system's been replaced. So besides the fuel injectors, so it's not that. I don't think it's the math. So I think it might be the crank angle sensor. So that's what we're doing today is replacing the crank angle sensor. Um, yeah, it's probably, I would assume it's never been changed before. So I'm gonna try to see if that will actually do the trick. I bought a crank angle sensor. I forget what store it was, but I just bought it recently and it finally came in, and this is what it looks like. So this is basically an upgraded version of it. The only reason why it's upgraded is because it came off of a 90s car instead of like another 300ZX. So basically what makes it upgraded is just it has a better sensor in there because of the newer technology in the 90s, but it still works the same for your turbo car. So, and it's pretty simple to install and everything. So we're gonna end up doing it right now, and I'll show you how it's done and stuff like that. And hopefully this will fix my problem. But this was probably like I think it was like 90 bucks, so it wasn't too bad. But this is a common failure point in these cars, so I'm gonna change it out and just to see what happens. So I mean, it's super easy to change out and stuff, so might as well try and see if it works. If it doesn't, then we'll see what else we can do. But let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is just take off all your wires. If you don't know which way they go, or if they're not already labeled like mine are, label yours just in case. Mine are already labeled, so I don't really have to worry about that. Oh man, some of these are stuck on there pretty good. Okay, so now that you have all your wires off, there's two screws, Phillips, on both sides. You just undo those two real quick and then your cap will come off. That's what they look like. There he goes. So that's the top part. Okay, so now you gotta, well, you gotta take this part off right now too. So in the back of it, there's a 8mm that you have to undo. So you just take off the bolt off the back. Okay, so now that 8mm is out. So now this top piece comes off just like that. All right, now there's two more Phillips on both sides on your dust cover. Okay, so I got the 2 screws out. This left one right here actually got stuck in there, and when I was trying to get it out with the Phillips, it actually stripped the top of the head, so I couldn't get it out. So what I had to do was basically get a 6mm socket, and then you put it over the head of the screw, you hammer it on until it gets stuck, and then you loosen it that way. So that's a trick that you can do, because once you strip that head, you will never get it out with the Phillips. So that's the kind of a trick I used. This is what the 2 bolts look like. Obviously the one on the left is the one that actually came out, and the one on the right is the one that got stripped. Sorry it doesn't focus that well. I am using a GoPro, so, but as you can see, the top of it's all messed up. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm either gonna go to Home Depot and get another one, or I might have one here. But anyways, I'm gonna continue on with this until we get back to that part again when we're on the reassembly, and then I'll go out and grab the screw, and then I'll show you how it is reassembling the rest of it. But let's continue on. So now that you got the 2 screws out, you take off this dust shield, just like that. And as you can see, the crank angle sensor is right there. So this is your trigger disc. And basically there is a screw, a Phillips screw that's right on the top. That's what you have to take off first. And then this piece will slide out. And then you take off these 3 screws to get the trigger disc out. And then your crank angle sensor is plugged in. So it's just gonna take a little bit to wiggle that out, and then you'll be good to go. See, the screw's still inside. Place that right there. Okay, so now your trigger disc should come out just like that. And now you just gotta take off these 3 screws that I was talking about. So hopefully these ones won't strip out like the other ones did. So there's 2 pieces right here. All this stuff just goes back in the same exact way, so you don't have to worry about it like in orientation and whatnot. Okay. All right. So here's the old one. Doesn't look like it's been replaced at all, so that's what it looks like on the inside. So now we can just compare the 2. So they're pretty much exactly the same thing. I don't know if the part numbers are any different. Looks like the part numbers are just slightly different, but obviously because it's from 2 different vehicles. So, but the only other difference is this one has these little tabs, which I'm gonna take off these tabs just so it matches this one, and then so we don't have that problem. If like these tabs, because these tabs might make it stick up a little bit higher. So I just need to get rid of those tabs real quick, and then they'll be exactly the same. And then I'll put this one back in. Okay, so I got those two tabs all grind off now. So now it's exactly the same as my old model, and time for reassembly now. Hopefully this will fix the problem. So the process is pretty easy. You just pretty much do everything in reverse. Make sure everything's tight, just like that. Definitely gotta put the dust shield on first. Okay, so now I just need to find one more dust shield screw, and then for that side, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, so I did have an actual extra screw right there for this dust shield, which is awesome. That's why you always keep bolts and screws from other cars, especially other Nissan cars and stuff like that you work on, because you never know when you're gonna need one. Just like this. So now everything's back together, exactly how it went. So just got to get your distributor cap, put this back on, just like that. There we go. Now, just gotta put all your wires back. I'll get back to you when I'm done. Okay, so all my wires are back on, and that pretty much does it. That probably took maybe like 10 minutes. Probably took less if I didn't have a problem with that screw, but luckily I had another one here, and saved me for having to go on a trip. So now what I just need to do before I start it up is I just need to mess with my throttle body real quick, because of when I was driving it last night, my throttle was sticking open, and I was like revving it to like 6,500, and then when it stopped, and then finally it kind of broke loose, and then it went back down to idle. So I don't know why my throttle plate is getting stuck open, but I'm gonna clean it out real quick, and then we'll turn on the car and then see if it still has problems cranking over and stuff. Okay, so I figured out why my throttle plate was sticking open. I did still clean out my throttle plate and my linkage here, but if you go inside of the car, so down there at the bottom, there's my piece of carpet right there, and actually my carpet was actually pushed up a lot further, and if you see that little spot right there, basically what was happening was when I would push the pedal in all the way, the carpet was holding the pedal down. So that's the reason why it was getting stuck open. I didn't realize that was happening at the time, but sometimes stupid stuff is what makes, you know, like that happen, you know, and makes you think that it's something wrong with the throttle body, or your throttle plate getting stuck open, or the linkage or something like that, when it's just something stupid like that. So anyways, I figured it out, so now it should work perfectly fine. I didn't start the car yet, but we're gonna start the car right now, and then see if it still has some problems cranking over, and then we'll drive it real quick, and we'll see if it has that hesitation and stuff like that for the first 30 seconds or whatnot. If it doesn't, then we obviously fix the problem, but if it does, then we'll just have to figure out what else, or what is the problem with it. So anyways, let's try to start it. Okay, I'm gonna try to start the car now. Also to note too, with the problem, it usually only happens when I first start the car up for the day. Usually after the car's already been running for, I don't know, like 10-20 minutes, I shut it off, go do something for a little bit, and come back and turn it back on. It's usually fine. So, but this is the first time I'm starting the car today, so we'll see if it happens. Look at that, fired right up right away. That's awesome. So before, it would probably crank over maybe for like a good like 15 seconds, and then it would start, or I'd have to press the gas pedal and try to get it to start that way. And now it literally just fired right up. So hopefully that fixed it. We're gonna go on the drive real quick and see what happens. Okay, so I'm starting to drive it right now, and usually it starts doing that sputtering thing, and it's not doing it. Wow, dang, this thing's smooth. So it usually does it for about like 15 to 30 seconds, and it'll just have this hesitation to where like I'll be accelerating right now, and then it'll just be jerking me. It'll just be like jerking until about like 30 to 45 seconds later. Now I don't have any of that. That's awesome. I think we fixed the problem. So, just so you guys are aware, yeah, if any of you guys have a 300ZX and are having those same cranking issues, or like hesitation on the first, you know, 30 seconds to a minute of the drive, it could be a crank angle sensor going bad. Like I said, it's a very common problem with this car, and they're not that bad. They're about like, I think it's like anywhere between $70 and $90 for it. So, and you can buy it for, or you can buy it on any pretty much online store, and you can buy it for like the Nissan Maximas in the 90s. They all have VG33s and VG30s, I think, too. So you can use those crank angle sensors from them, and that's one of the ones I use for my car. Anyways, I hope this will help you guys out. If you can't figure out what the problem is with your car or whatnot, but yeah, it's running good. Oh, side note, on the 18th of this month, I'm going to, hopefully I'll be able to go to the drag strip, and I'm going to do a quarter-mile time on this car. So I'm going to keep using, you know, the street tires or whatnot, but basically it'll just be like a, I guess like a baseline quarter-mile time for the car before we start actually adding some power and like taking weight off and stuff like that, and putting wider tires on there. So that would be on the 18th. It's like a street heat event, it's called, and there's going to be a lot of people there. I'm going to film, you know, obviously a bunch of the cars and stuff like that, but I'll
guys have a good day, and I'll have another video on this car coming out probably within the next couple of days, and then you'll probably end up seeing that drag strip day where I do the quarter-mile pass on this car. But yeah, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.